Hi, Alex. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for holding while I've been babbling.
I'm a bit nervous, so I'll give you a few points, and then I'll tell you about our Walmart bomb shop here in Canada. You're right. It's coming at us like a freight train, and I'm a mom. I'm giving my life to this. I've personally handed out 1,128 videos this year.
Wow.
And I teamed up with a fella from America that I met online, and we're developing a website. It's a massive movie. A lot of people don't like to research. So what we did is put a lot of the information on the NWO into movies that are available online so that you have one-stop kind of thing. Our motto is there's a war raging, and the truth needs an army. So it's infoarmy.org, and we're still building it up, but we'll take suggestions as well.
That's a great name.
I have to tell you that on Sunday's show, you covered about Canada. You're right. Nobody's listening up here. It is so hard. And Harper prorogued. It's called proroguing Parliament, and it's unprecedented that he's ever done this, and he did it twice in 1 year. And yes, you're right. The Governor-General is the power in Canada. She is put in, or they are put in, on every one of the Queen's countries that she dominates, and it's her choice.
Look, she owns on record about half the land in Canada. Same thing in Australia. They've got crowns on all the street signs. When I've been in London and I talked to the police, and they said, yes, the Queen at her discretion shuts down her roads. So they'll just shut down whole roads as an exercise of power, just like they stick their hands down your pants as an exercise of power and to train their goons. And I read out of the New York Times where it said the Parliament didn't vote the way he wanted, and the Parliament was going to vote to remove him. So he pled to the Queen, who activated the Governor-General. They're under a governor, an unelected governor. That's tyranny. And when I'm on Canadian radio, I'll bring it up when a host is attacking me, and they go, let's just move on from that. People don't want to discuss it. They want to make believe that they're in a free country. Well, here, I read the New York Times admitting that a secret banking cartel runs the country and controls the stock market. It's all rigged. And the average investor doesn't want to hear that. Because if they actually admit that we aren't running things, then they have to admit they've got to get up off their hind end and do something. And so they just make believe. I mean, more and more, having children, I've now discovered all this. I remember briefly as a child, 3 years old, playing Batman and Robin with my friends across the street, jumping off the porch. I've told the story many times. And it wasn't fun anymore. I realized I'm not Batman. I'm not Robin. This isn't real. And then when I was like 15, there were neighborhood kids still playing make-believe games. And I have this big conscious thing that I'm only alive once. There's this world outside of me. I mean, it was a real epiphany. And most adults, it's like dress up. I mean, they enjoy just parading and posing around. And so they're mentally ill. They think if they just imagine that none of this is happening, that then it means that nothing's going on. So, I mean, what do Canadians say up there, Candy, about the fact that Canada, and in fact, I want to read the New York Times because people won't listen to me. And then I want to get your comment, because I was sent emails, I saw comments when I mentioned this briefly last Friday saying I made this up. Here it is. Canadian leader shuts down Parliament. How does I thought we have separation of powers. How does the Prime Minister shut down the Parliament, who is elected by the people, and then they elect him? See, he serves the people. Canada's parliamentary opposition reacted with outrage on Thursday after Prime Minister Stephen Harper shut down the legislature until January 26, seeking to forestall a no-confidence vote that he was sure to lose and possibly provoke a constitutional crisis. Well, they're supposed to remove prime ministers when they're setting up North. And what did he say a month ago? We're giving up our sovereignty in Canada to the globalists. Harper acted after getting approval of Governor-General Michelle Jean, or Jean, if I'm pronouncing that right, who represents Queen Elizabeth II as the nation's head of state. He represents the head of state, Queen Elizabeth. And that's not ceremonial. It was the Parliament. And I've read the charter of the Parliament Act in England and in Canada and in Australia. It's all the same. They operate at her pleasure or his pleasure if it's a king. They operate at the pleasure of the crown, and the taxes are paid. and they shut down whole roads for their enjoyment. I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, that's correct. That's exactly what they do. They use happy words up here like harmony and vision, just like Charlotte has said.
Oh, there's a vision. Your elected representatives actually tried to run things and didn't want to take your guns and didn't want to give up our... Did you see the news yesterday where they announced they're merging Canada and the U.S. military forces domestically? I mean, that was already done a decade ago. Now they're announcing it, and they're like, oh, it's vision, it's harmony. Oh, your elected people don't want it? Well, they're not the government. This old lady is. This old warmonger, whose cousin was a top Adolf Hitler supporter. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Today, Hillary Clinton is here in Canada, and she's basically here to eliminate the borders of Canada, U.S., Mexico, and it's called the New Border Vision. Another happy word.
No, that was in the news. They say they're merging everything.
Yeah, they're merging it all. But like Charlotte had said, is in the end, they're going to eliminate North America. It'll all be one union. It'll all be the New World Order.
Well, Judicial Watch sued 4 years ago and got all the official documents. First thing on the agenda at the Banff Canada SPP meeting, keep it secret from the public, use border crises to merge, use flu to merge. We're going to take over. And at the meeting, they had representatives of more than 100 Fortune 100 literally writing the agenda. Then they had all the executives of the U.S., Mexico, and Canada literally saying, yes, sir, and implementing it.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's a hidden way to put SPP back on the table, which it hasn't even come off the table to begin with.
I hear you. God bless you, Candy. I'm glad you brought up that Canada situation. I mean, it's like uranium in the water, or the government taking kids' blood at birth secretly. I mean, it's all admitted, and people just go, well, I guess uranium's good for me. I'll guarantee you, I could go out in Austin and walk up to 10 cops. 3 of them would say, leave me alone, Alex. So you wouldn't know what side they were on. 2 or 3 would say, oh, hi, Alex, I like your show. And 3 more would laugh and say, good, I like uranium. Now, if some citizen put a little uranium in their drink, there'd be cops freaking out and crying on the news and press conferences, and they'd all be up there with real serious looks on their face going, we're going to get to the bottom of whoever put this uranium in our officer's drink. But government does it, and they've been brainwashed. They can't hear you. They're just like, you mean a group that's big and scary? I'll just deny that's going on. I'm a coward deep down. What do you think I'm going to do? And again, I talk about cops because you are going to be the enforcement of this. Brandon and Mass, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
2 things. I was wondering if you had seen a recent video of Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope kind of making fun of you. And 2...
I'm very upset by that. I'm very upset. They're comedians. It's terrible. I mean, those guys are over-the-top, extreme comedians. And whereas I'm friends with Joe and I, like Stanhope as a human being, I disagree with a lot of what they say. But I'm reaching out because also I get to reach out to their very worldly audience. So, no, I don't know that there's a video of them making fun of me, but I appreciate it because the guys have millions of fans.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
2.
I thought you were asking me a question.
I was wondering about kind of your smear campaign, I guess you could say, against like other truthers such as Jock Fresco.
Well, I mean, listen, there's a lot of people out there who are drama queens, and if they can make up that I'm doing something to them, then they get to parade around and be part of the Alex Jones' evil cult, which is a bunch of losers and failures, and I don't even care. I'm worried about poison in the water, world government, global financial meltdown, hyperinflation. So, I mean, I could just tell, because that guy could hardly talk, and I feel sorry for Brandon. I could tell when I heard the voice, the spirit of weakness, that he was going to bring up a bunch of ninnying junior high gossip. You think I care if I have never done anything to anybody. All I've done is had a platform to help people. Folks get a taste of it. They try to stab me in the back because they're primitive, and they think if they can knock me off, they'll be number 1.
Don't want no shackles.
Patriot Jimmy Vaughn.
Don't want no shackles on me.
I want to go to Randy, Brent, Tim, Tom, Frank, and others. We got Robert Groden coming up here in a moment. But, folks, just for the interest of defeating the New World Order, let's just say I'm a really horrible person, which I'm not. Let's just say it. It's all true. I mean, just anything you can imagine evil, I did it. I sunk the Lusitania. I assassinated JFK. I stole the eggs from the Easter Bunny. It doesn't matter. The globalists are online trying to make all of this about us infighting with each other. That's what Cass Sunstein said. All I do is bring people together, bring people on the show, create a platform. So I got a lot of jealous haters. It's that simple. And then a lot of other weak-minded, mentally ill people who were brought up wrong, and all they know how to do is fight with each other. We're going into world government. We've got to stay focused on going after the globalists and bringing them to justice. It's us or them, okay? And the main reason so many other talk show hosts and people are jealous is because they're lazy. I make films. I do interviews every day. I work hard to warn people because I'm driven by a desire for liberty. And that's why you're failures, okay, is because you come from bad families. You're backstabbers. I mean, I'm sure you're all losers. I mean, anybody who's successful is either evil and successful or good and successful. But infighters are always weak, unsuccessful people. So you're lukewarm, I guess. And I feel sorry for you. But please keep attacking because that sends people here to find the truth. Let's talk to Randy in Ohio. Randy, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Alex Jones.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, not too bad. Freezing my butt off here in northwest Ohio.
All part of the global warming, record cold, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A part of the reason, I say most of the reason that people in this country and this world are so complacent is they're lazy. They're flat lazy, man. It takes effort to educate yourself on these issues. I stumbled across your website here a few months back, and I started listening to your radio show through the web. I've been watching Jesse Ventura's documentaries, and I've been going back and researching and verifying all this. Now, this takes some effort to do. Most people don't want to put that kind of effort into anything.
But don't they understand, Randy? They have no future if they don't do the research and then take action. Don't they know? I mean, people should be overrunning the city councils to take control of their government through the elective process. They should be overrunning government to take our country back. And some are waking up, but not fast enough.
I understand that. I've been trying to talk to my wife about this stuff. She thinks I'm off the wall until I started showing her some of these videos. And she's starting to get the idea of what's coming. And I think this whole New World Order deal is going to come in here when this 2012 solar cycle ramps up and this magnetosphere. Yeah. When that sunspot hits that hole in the magnetosphere, it's going to fry a lot of stuff. It's just going to be like opening up a blast furnace.
Well, we know that scientists had previously thought that we were hit every million years or so by big asteroids. Now they say every 10,000. We know that they thought that the ozone layer was unnatural. Now they know it is natural, and that there's all sorts. This planet is not stable. Anybody who's lived in Tokyo or San Francisco, for that matter, and been in an earthquake. Last night I was at my parents'. They had some friends over, and they were all telling stories about being in earthquakes. My mom was in one, visiting friends in San Francisco. And, I mean, the earth moves around under you. This planet is not stable. That's why when Al Gore says we've got to have stable climate and they've got to control the weather, it's a joke.